What's up, everybody? This is the Jedi. I want to first shout out Paul Whaley, um, longtime subscriber and troop here on the channel, you guys. Shout out to you, Paul. Um, and I thought this was an excellent contribution to our curriculum, everybody. With all of the hoopla and the goings on with the Black Panther movie, that's fine. But let us remember the Black Panther that really means something to us, that were real superheroes, even if you will, you know. These brothers and sisters, my God, this is what I'm trying to recreate to this day. Something that takes from their business, from their model, and indeed all the ancestors that have come before. I always tell you, we have the blueprint for everything that we need. We have the blueprint for everything that we need, and there were so many good things that you could take from what they did and how they did it. Oh my God. And so this is just a good thing to just sort of snap us back. And alas, it is Black History Month, blah blah, that's fine, but this is what matters. And it's interesting, in all of the all the TV shows have a, either when they're going to commercial, they're coming back, or during their show or something, they're like, and we want to say, to acknowledge Black history, we want to acknowledge the first African American to do such and such, and the first African American to do this, and they have to put on the movie about Dr. King, and they have to put on the movie about Rosa Parks, and they have to do it all. But where is the movie of the Black Panther? Where's that at? Of this Black Panther, not a mythological character, but real living and breathing brothers and sisters, you see what I'm saying, who put their lives on the line for the advancement of our people. The ones that really put it to this white devil, they don't ever remember them. But the ones that came with that Christian bullshit and love massa and turn the other cheek and be friends with them, oh, they're just right up there with everything. Where's the Malcolm X movie? Where's that at, huh? I'm sorry, what? I'm over it. I don't want to get worked up this early in the damn video. Alright. Black Panther Party origins and history. So this is what your children should be able to recite. You should be able to go to any African child and say, tell them about the Black Panther. And if they can't recite it, God damn it, send them to their room till they turn 50. I'm over it. All right. Black Panther Party was founded in 1966 by Huey P. Newton. They didn't put the P in there, but I am. Gotta respect the brothers. By Huey P. Newton, and they got bodied. Damn, what publication is? They can't even type. It's not body, everybody. It's Bobby. By Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale in Oakland, California. It was initially organized to protect Africans from police brutality. Just in case they don't mention it in here, I want to interject there to say that they carried guns, homie. Yes, because California was an open carry state, and as with everything, the white devil will change the rule in the middle of the road as soon as we access some shit. I always tell you, I love that line from Michael Jackson's Scream with him and Janet. And there's a part when Janet comes in and she goes, changing the rules while I'm playing the game. I can't take it much longer. I think I may go insane. And that's what they're speaking to. Changing the rules while I'm playing the game. Changing the rules while I'm playing the game. You see? And so they marched into the state capitol in California. I guess that would be Sacramento. With guns in hand, because it's open carry, so you could just carry your fucking rifles up in the bitch. Oh, and they did. Suddenly they changed the law. Reagan was, I think, the governor of the state or something at the time. Oh, they changed it. California no longer, to this day, I think, is no It's no longer an open carry state. Quick, change it. The niggers have guns. Quick, change the rule. You see? Terrified the devils when they walked up in there because they went up there in all that black leather and then berets and looking serious with the afro with no games. That's the reaction, homie. That's how you get result. And they would follow the police around. You on patrol? Goddamn it, we on patrol. How you doing? You see? They pull somebody over, the Black Panther get out and be standing right there with their guns and everything, watching everything that go on. Like, we dare you. We dare you. You see? Oh, they were on it. They were on it. So anyways, it was initially organized to protect Africans from police brutality. They evolved into a Marxist revolutionary group that was labeled by the FBI as advocating the use of violence and guerrilla tactics to overthrow the U.S. government. I'm over it. The fact of the matter is they was just black people that was serious. That's enough to scare the white devil right off the planet. They'll say they were Godzilla and anything erroneous, you know. No, they were just people that were over the shit and they were willing to stand up and fight. And that meant by any means necessary. We happy to be peaceful, but if you start some shit, we gonna end it. Period. And they were out there and it was just African people marching. We didn't have little stringy ass white people with backpacks with us and bandanas over their face. It wasn't allowed. They didn't even want to approach. You see what I'm saying? I don't want to get worked up. I'm trying to get through this. The party had thousands of members and chapters in several cities at its height in the late 1960s. All right. The Black Panther emerged out of the nonviolent civil rights movement of the early 1960s. Leaders Newton and Seal both began their experience with organized groups as members of the Revolutionary Action Movement, a social group with militant and nonviolent political activities. Its roots may also found in Loudoun County Freedom Organization, the LCFO, an Alabama group dedicated to registering African American voters. The group was also called the Black Panther Party. The name was later borrowed by Newton and Seal for their California-based Black Panther Party. The goal of the Black Panther Party had a specific platform laid out in 10 points. It included goals such as, we want power to determine the destiny of our black and oppressed communities. We want land, bread, housing, education, clothing, justice, and peace. It also outlined their key beliefs, which centered around black liberation, self-defense, and social change. You feel me? Man, in the long term, the group aimed rather vaguely at a revolutionary overthrow of the white-dominated status quo and black power, but they had no more concrete platform for governing. They took their inspiration from a combination of socialist intellectuals, combining their thoughts on the role of class struggle with the specific theories about black nationalism. The role of violence. The Black Panthers committed to projecting a violent image. I think that's probably another typo because they didn't proofread their shit. You see, this is so anti-intellectual. You're going to put something forth. This is not a comment on a YouTube video. This is an article written for a publication on a very important historical group. And you can't fucking proofread your shit? Get your ass off the fucking goddamn... Take your ass! I can't. Black Panther committed to, I'm just going to take license with it and say, committed to projecting a violent image and to actual violence from their inception. Second Amendment rights were central to their platform and called out explicitly in their 10-point program. I want to stop there and say this, that I advocate for that. Do you understand? When I talk about forming the Black Independence Liberation League, and I've preached at length about African people need to stop buying Jordans and stop buying phones and start buying guns. There's a Second Amendment in this bitch, and if anybody needs it's us. White people just want guns for fucking hobby and for arrogance because they're afraid of their own shadow. We need it for actual protection. Do you understand what I'm saying? And any groups that we have it needs to be known that we are not violent, but we are always prepared to be. Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, don't start none, and it won't be none. You know, we get abused as a people because we are docile. And they know we just gonna scream that you wrong and I'm getting it on tape and you wrong, and no, fuck that. If you want something you never had before, you gotta do shit you never did before. And when you're at war, you have to be willing to lay down your life. You have to be willing to do that. But the problem with our people is that you don't have the heart of the lion because that's been sucked out of you with that Christian lie. You've been told to forgive and love your enemy. After 9 people get shot in South Carolina at a goddamn church, you have grown-ass men outside in a prayer fucking circle instead of going to get their fucking, they goddamn choppers and revolvers and shit and AR-15s and whatever, and you go find this motherfucker. A prayer circle. You see? But this goes back to Dr. King. Go and sit at the lunch counter. Let them spit on you. Let them hit you, and you don't fight back. Fuck that. You know? We always hear about them, but I did a long video before about the deacons of defense. Because I just knew just instinctively that all of our people couldn't have been on board with that nonviolent bullshit that Dr. King was preaching. There had to be some people who was like, fuck that. And alas, there was. And so, just like with them, you had the Black Panther. We're going to get justice one way or the damn other. Leave us the fuck alone. Here's what we want. And we're prepared to defend that. Nobody ever got anything by asking for it, everybody. Power concedes nothing without a demand. You know, that's basic. You sit in class and somebody keeps thumping the back of your ear. Stop. 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 So as long as you just do that bitch stop shit, they're going to keep it up. You turn around and take the whole front of their grill out, they will not touch you again. You need to understand this. You need to understand this. So they had a plan. You know, and so we could even extrapolate and say that the Black Lives Matter, you know, at least had some of this intent with their platform, because they actually had plans, like they had demands and shit that they have a cause. Whatever we want to say about them and whatever you think, and oh my God, and they're funded by who? Forget that. Fact is, they had a plan of shit that they want. And that, like a model like this, you know, that echoes this sort of thing. You gotta, what is it that you want? And you gotta be able to outline that. Anyway, we believe we can end police brutality in our black community by organizing black self-defense groups that are dedicated to defending our black community from racist-ass police oppression and brutality. The Second Amendment of the Constitution of the United States gives us the right to bear arms. We therefore believe that all African people should arm themselves for self-defense. Exactly. You see what I'm saying? Because if we were doing that, then we don't have people standing around when our sisters are being thrown to the ground by police, or when we have a whole group of them on one of our people, you know, attacking them, clearly outside of humanity and the law and anything else you're going to name. They see you standing there with that shit, they're not gonna do a damn thing. Matter of fact, they ain't gonna come to our damn community. They will stay the fuck out. You know? And you must understand, they were doing this at a time when there was no cell phone camera, no cell phone footage to be had. You know, this is why white folks was allegedly so shocked and amazed when they saw the Rodney King tape. Well, that was a rerun for us. We've been seeing that. Like what? You know, the group's violent stance was by no means secret. In fact, it was central to the Black Panthers' public identity. Exactly. You see what I'm saying? Not we secretively, no, we letting you know we will kick your ass. So we just letting you know. We just letting you know. You know, you don't need to be secretive. Because the war against us is not secret. It's open. And they understood that. And it was central to the Black Panthers' public identity. Author Albert Harry, writing in 1976, observed that the group's paramilitarism was clearly visible from the start, as Black Panthers strutted around in their black jackets, black berets, and tight-fitting black pants, their pockets bulging with sidearms, their clenched fists high above their defiant heads. I love it. The group acted on its image. In some instances, members would appear in mass and simply threaten violence. In others, they took over buildings or engaged in shootouts with police or with other militant groups. Both Black Panther members and police were killed in confrontations. Social and political platforms. The Black Panther were not solely focused on violence. They also organized and sponsored social welfare programs, the most famous of which was their free breakfast for children. In the 1968 and 69 school year, the Black Panther fed as many as 20,000 children through this social program. You see what I'm saying? When you just look at just what they've done, even just this far in, everybody, then you look at your own pathetic ass and realize we haven't done a fucking thing. And then you need to look in the mirror and say, what am I willing to do? We must look within. We have way more tools now than they ever had to be united economically and socially. All we need is the will and the determination and the commitment, and there's nothing we can't achieve. We can have anything we want. You know, Black Panther just made like $400 million or something, and it's still rising. You feel me? Think about if that was our film, what we could do with $400 million. Not going to go into that. I've already done that video. Eldridge Cleaver ran for president on the Peace and Freedom Party ticket in 1968. Cleaver met with North Korean leader Kim goddammit, he met with North Korea, alright, in 1970 and traveled to North Vietnam. He also met with Yasser Arafat and the Chinese ambassador to Algeria. He advocated a more revolutionary agenda, and after being expelled from the Panthers, led the Black Liberation Army splinter group. The Panthers worked on electing members with unsuccessful campaigns, such as Ernie Brown for Oakland City Council. They supported the election of Lionel Wilson as the first African mayor of Oakland. Former Black Panther members have served in elected offices, including U.S. Representative Bobby Rush. I was just going to mention him, so thank God they did. But shame on him because of the shit that well, we'll just move on. But anyways, Bobby Rush, appreciate you, bruh. Alright, notable events. May 2nd, 1967. About 30 armed Black Panther members enter the California legislature. That's what I was telling you about. Enter the legislature to protest consideration of outlawing the right of private citizens to bear arms. There was no violence, but the spectacle is well remembered and brought the group into public light. At that time, open carry of weapons was legal in California. This is what I was telling y'all. The Black Panther had exercised this right in being present at arrests and stationed at the legally allowed distance while displaying their firearms. You see what I'm saying? So you got a brother or sister pulled over. Goddamn, you got the Black Panther right there shadowing your ass, daring you. Daring you. So imagine now, Philando Castile and his woman and the precious little jewel is pulled over. And you got a rack of us standing up there. Daring them. Daring them. You see? Suddenly Philando Castile is still alive. Suddenly. 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 Damn. Wow. You know? Read on, Jedi. Read on. August of 1967, the FBI includes the Black Panther Party in their counterintelligence program. Wait, we got people fighting for their freedom that we're fucking oppressing every goddamn day. Quick, watch them. Think about the logic of that. I'm going to get through this without getting worked up. I'm going to. Damn it. Where am I at? Their counterintelligence program, COINTELPRO, aimed to discredit and neutralize subversive organizations that dare to fight this white devil who's oppressing them. They conduct hundreds of actions to weaken the party. You see, this is why I say, read on, Jedi. Damn it, read on. This is what you're dealing with. You see what I'm saying? That's why I tell you, the only way you're going to ever have anything is you're going to have to take it. You see? Justice is not something you ask for. Liberation is not something you ask for. Revolution is not something you ask for. Change is not something you ask for. You take it. October 28, 1967, party leader Huey P. Newton is arrested after Oakland a white devil fucking is shot and killed performing a traffic stop of Newton, in which another devil and Newton were also shot. This incident led to the rallying cry of Free Huey, which galvanized support for the party among other activists. Newton was later convicted of voluntary manslaughter, a conviction that was later over frickin' turned, bitches. April 6, 1968, an armed confrontation erupts between Black Panthers and police, led to a 90-minute confrontation at a building housing Panthers. Eventually, the Panthers surrendered. Over the course of the day, at least 4 police were wounded and 1 killed. One Panther member, Bobby Hutton, is killed by a white devil, and 7 others are arrested. Hutton's death became a rallying issue. In 1969, gun battles take place between Black Panthers and rival organizations, including one in Campbell Hall on the UCLA campus in 1969. Panthers torture and kill a suspected informant, Alex Rackley, which leads to a trial of Bobby Seale alleging he ordered the killing. A huge trial resulted, and there was no retrial. I love it. But see, so they were taking care of their own. You see, there'll be no coons up in here. There'll be no sellouts. There'll be no informants. We will have total allegiance, or we will not. Gun battles take place between Black Panthers and I'd read that. December 4th, 1969. Another well-remembered instance of violence is instigated by the FBI, which provides the information needed to raid the Illinois Black Panther Party head's apartment. 2 members of the Black Panther were killed by gunfire. The event is remembered partly for the disproportionate firing. Evidence revealed later that the fucking White Devils fired up to 99 bullets, while the Panthers may have shot 1. It is also remembered because the information required for the break-in was obtained by FBI infiltrator in a period when surveillance of the domestic group had been approved. The charges against the 7 survivors of the raid were later dropped, and Hampton's family won a $1.85 million wrongful death settlement from the city of Chicago. You see how that happened? You see there? The charges against the 7 survivors were dropped, and they paid the family off because they murdered those brothers. Murdered them. There was no shootout. There was no shootout. There was just an attack. That's all. December 8, 1969, the LAPD conducts a SWAT attack on the Los Angeles Black Panther office, firing thousands of rounds and resulting in no deaths but a handful of injuries on both sides. 1971, after a fallout between Newton and Eldridge Cleaver, the party splits into factions and engage in assassinations of each other's members, with 4 killed. You see, this is why you have to have tight. It's got to be tight. You understand what I'm saying? You can't allow the white devil to divide. You can't allow that. You have to have total compliance and total allegiance from every member. You are with us 100% or you are not. You can't have no halfways. You see? That's why, and I understand that. That's why when I began the Black Independent Liberation League, I personally sit and interview each damn person and grill their ass. But I also have the gift of discernment, and I'm also clairvoyant and have a sixth sense, and I can read people. I'm very good at body language and all those things, and I'm very crafty to know what you're telling me and what you're not. You need that. You need that. And you can't have Newton and Seal. It's got to be everybody. Everybody has to be empowered at the same level of leadership and fight. This is one of the things I love about the Black Lives Matter. There is no leader. There is no leader. So that's what really frustrates the white devil, because there's nobody they can point to and say, get him, and villainize him to try and kill the morale of everybody else. If everybody is at the same strength and the same determination, we're all kind of like clones of each other, you're invincible. And very frustrating to the enemy. Oh my God. They'll throw themselves from windows. You see? In 1974, 9 Panthers, including Newton, are arrested for assault on a fucking white devil. Newton is also charged with murdering Kathleen Smith. He flees to Cuba. Panther bookkeeper Betty Van Patters goes missing and is found beaten to death, with Panther leadership suspected. Now, it's probably the white devils that did it and tried to blame it on them. In 1977, there was an attempt to assassinate Crystal Gray, a witness in the Smith murder. Elaine Brown was appointed chairwoman of the Panthers in 1974 as Newton went into exile. Membership in the Panthers declined precipitously throughout the 1970s and was down to a couple dozen by 1980. You see, you look at the blueprint that went on before you. You know, it's like you walk up to a building and go, well, look, they didn't do the foundation right. It's a great building. It's great. But look at their foundation. Look, it's lopsided. Oh, look, it's cracked. Oh, look, they didn't use the right grade of concrete. And they should have reinforced it with, you know, rebar and all of it. Oh, and look, they didn't really do this, and their windows are all wrong, and this, that. And that's a blueprint. And you say, okay, that's a great building. I can make it better. I see the mistakes they've made. I won't make those. You know? Or somebody walks before you in an open field, and it's landmines. And you see the ones that went off, and you go, okay, don't step there. Don't do that. Okay, you don't do that. Okay, you step there, but not there. You see? You get through that landmine. You get through based on their blueprint. You see? And then you build. You build. You build. And this is just one. We have the Black Panthers, but there's so many others, you know, that we have the blueprint from. That's why I've said the Black Independence Liberation League will transcend anything that has ever come before it. Ever. Ever. And will completely frustrate this enemy to no end. but absolutely be successful for our people. I just can't get you to get off your ass. Is this stuff to click on? The Southern Civil Rights Movement. Okay, what's this on the right? Black Freedom Struggle. I'm almost afraid to click over here because I don't want to get into anything. Yeah, we don't need to click on this right now. Politics and race in the 20th century, resisting racism and policing and the justice system. Anyway, I think I'll link this page, everybody, just in case you want to go and click around on it, because there's other stuff. I'm just here because of the link that Paul sent, and it took me directly to this. So, you know, I'm sure I'm going to do some clicking around on it, but it's not what I intended to bring to you. I just want to stay focused on this Black Panther stuff. So, but this is what your children need to know, and then you need to go, even just you too, and because you need to know everything that you can know about them. You know, stuff like this should be inspiring to you. It is for me. You know, if you don't know that you did something before, then you're less inclined to do it again. When you realize there was something that was this and this doesn't even tell half their story. I mean, the stuff that they did, you guys, they had clinics, they had everything. I mean, they did it all. And when you see, when you make yourself fully aware of their story, then you go, damn, we're not doing shit right now. Hopefully you will feel frustrated, but also inspired at the same time to be motivated. Strength in numbers, everybody. Strength in numbers. Strength in numbers. This is the Jedi.